we're happy with how that's going. Obviously, 5 points out of 9 is good, but it's not perfect. So we're a group of staff and players who always feel like we're not resting on our laurels with how good the performance is. We're asking why have the results not matched that. So plenty more work to do. I'm enjoying the role and I'm working as hard as possible. But yeah, it's been a solid start. We just wish that one of those draws would have been a win.
Yeah, and I suppose, Tom, you're a young man, 34 years old, just starting out in your coaching career as such. I suppose, dare you dreamed when you sort of hung up the boots last year and took on a sort of coaching role with the Watford Academy, that lo and behold, not even a year later that you'd find yourself as first team sort of coach. And I suppose, like John O'Shea here in Ireland, but the opportunity can arise. When this opportunity comes, you have to take them no matter the age, no matter how early on in your career. Is it a thing that if you don't take it now, that you might regret it later on?
Yeah, and John's a good friend of mine. I've spoke to him quite a lot recently, actually. But listen, from as a player, you try and prepare yourself the best you can to perform, and that doesn't change when you're a coach. I think my 8 months in the academy, I worked as hard as I possibly can to be prepared for this moment. And yeah, I'd never thought when I retired that 9 months later I would be taking charge of the team. But like I said, you work and you prepare and you learn on a daily basis to prepare yourself as best you can for getting thrown in at the deep end. And I think that's paying off at the minute.
Yeah, and I suppose, Tom, in terms of where Watford see themselves in the league at the moment, 40 games in, 50 points. You're probably 8 points off the top 10. Likewise, 8 points really above relegation. Towards the end of the season, I know there's loads of incentives for you as a manager, but in terms of some of the established players, in terms of keeping them motivated, keeping them driving on until the end of the season, which probably safe in mid-table security, is there what's the real motivation as such?
Yeah, I think first of all, is no one is happy with being in 14th place. That's not the aims and goals that I see for the football club, and it certainly won't be moving forward. I said when I first came in that my targets are to win the next game and that everyone leaves the season with an optimism of promotion next year, and that doesn't change. And I think that's what keeps the players motivated. I want them to feel like um, we're we're a team that can compete at that end of the table, and it helps for me. The fixtures help us be able to do that. We play against all teams we play against are above us in the league, and I want to give us that belief back, which I can start to feel creeping our play now.
And I suppose in terms of second comings, it's really been a second coming from Emmanuel Dennis back at Watford for club. And he looks to be really hungry to be back in the English football, to be back in the English league, to be back at Watford. And he's really looks like a man that is sort of taking this chance and grabbing it by both arms the second time around, and to really reprove his name, because he came with such a massive transfer fee to begin with, and it looks like a man that's really determined this time around to say, yes, I'm worth every penny that originally that I was cost.
Yeah, I mean the 3 games that I've been in charge, he's been fantastic. You know, scoring the winner at Birmingham, and then I thought it was a complete performance against Leeds. And then again against West Brom, he didn't get rewarded with a goal against West Brom, but I thought it was a fantastic performance. I mean, that's where I think I've got the edge, or it's an advantage that I know these players so well, how they operate, what gets them motivated, and yeah, we've done a lot of work with Dennis in a short period of time, and he's repaying us for that with his performances. It's been outstanding, and a lot of unselfish stuff he's doing that goes unnoticed. He's tracking back. He's making runs for others. He's been a real complete striker in the last 2 games.
And I suppose, Tom, we look at Watford season probably as a whole, and I suppose Watford club, the club's main aim is to be in the playoffs, to be pushing for a Premier League, the size of Watford club. But for Ryan Andrews, only 19 years old, he can hold up his hands and say, yes, it's been a terrific season for me. 34 matches in terms of the championship, some eye-watering displays, 2 goals, a few assists as well. Clearly, he's been the shining light of Watford's season so far.
Yeah, we're always proud when an academy product breaks through into our first team. And we saw at Birmingham, it was our youngest 11 for 13 years. And last game, we're having Messiah Edwards on the bench. And Ryan's sort of the flag bearer for guys like this, you Jack Greaves and Albert Eames and people like that. And we're really, really happy with how Ryan's progressing. What I won't let Ryan do is feel like he's cracked it yet. I want to see Ryan as a Premier League fullback, hopefully with Watford. And I'm very demanding of the players that they never think they've cracked it. There's always the next level to achieve. There's always improvement. There's always learning, and we're on Ryan's case for that. But yeah, he looks at home at this level, and now we want him to kick on again.
And second last question for you, Tom. I suppose Preston at the weekend, I suppose they will be still, hopes are high, still hoping to pushing for maybe a playoff position. And Preston will probably look on a solid season. They're a solid championship outfit, Preston. You start to know what they're going to get from them each season out. And dare I say, if you're not at 90 or 100% against Preston, they'll punish you.
100%, yeah. I mean, the job that Ryan Lowe's done there is outstanding. They're a team where they are in the league for a reason. It'll be a solid test for us. But it's one we're looking forward to. I think we're coming off the back of 2 really good performances. Now we need to turn those into wins. But to do that, you need to be at 100%. And I challenged the players before West Brom. Sorry, that is the key in this league is consistency. So it's no good raising your game for certain games and then dropping levels. It's all about consistency in this league, and if we're not at it against Preston, I'm sure they'll punish us.
I suppose finally for me, Tom, I suppose the goal at the moment and all the talk is to finish out the current season. And obviously you've motivations in your own time and now in the future to be a full-time professional manager as well. But when you look at the championship this season, when you see the likes of Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, really, really big, massive clubs, Premiership clubs and names in terms of resources, and more than likely 2 out of those 3 will probably head up to the Premier League now at the end of the season, and probably the teams that are probably dropping down probably aren't as people will look at it in terms of the resources, or players that probably don't have the same depth as some of the teams that are coming up. So in terms of Watford, when they see the job that Ipswich done, is there any real reason that Watford, if they build now, should not find themselves in a position to be able to competing for automatic promotion, given that more likely 2 out of those 3 in terms of Leicester, Leeds and Southampton won't be in the championship next year, more than likely?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the challenge for the players. It's something that we want to build. It's definitely something I'm trying to get back in the next few games where we're playing Leeds, West Brom, Ipswich, Southampton, Preston, and yeah, I want us to get the belief back that we're not overachieving what we do against Leeds, and we're not overachieving second half West Brom. This is the level that we should be operating at, that we've got the players to operate at. Saying that the championship would be a weaker challenge next year, I think it's always difficult to put it like that. Yes, it'll be two or 3 big clubs going up, but you look at the job Burnley did last season. You look at how competitive. I'm not writing Burnley off, sorry, but they're in the mix of coming back down, and whoever comes back down will be favourites to go back up. That's just the way it is. But for concentrating on us, yeah, it would be my challenge to the players, whether it's with me or with someone else, that's the end of the league that we should be challenging at.
Cheers, Tom. Best of luck against Preston at the weekend.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. All the best.